We are live. Listen, layoffs are happening across industries. AI is changing jobs faster than people expected. Prices for housing and food are still high. Today, Zaire Simpson and I are having a real conversation about income, options, and why more people are taking a look at something different. Now, Zaire, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Tell them who you are and what you do. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I was just thinking as you were talking about that, you're like, man, I'm trying to take care of myself. And there was a guy on one of these Facebook pages I was on yesterday who was like, I'm not, I'm new to Vegas and whatever his little spiel about himself. But he's like, I'm not a simp and I'm not this and that and I'm not here to pay your bills. And so one lady commented and was like, well, if we go out to eat, I do expect you to pick up the bill. He was like, never mind then. And I was like, you ain't even trying to pay for a meal? Bruh, if you cannot afford to pay for a meal, you do not need to be dating. Okay, you don't need a girlfriend. You can't afford a girlfriend right now. If you can't pay for a meal, and my mom taught me that if you invite somebody out, you pay. You don't invite somebody out and then you expect them to pay. Or what, y'all going Dutch? You looking for a best friend or you looking for a girlfriend? Because I don't know what you're looking for, but you're not even trying to pay for a meal, brother. But times are hard. If you can't even afford to pick up the tab on a meal, and I understand they have this thing called a, what'd you say? Real men pick up the tab. I mean, it's or you don't date. Like you delay that until you get your money up. Like I just don't even understand. But a lot of people are getting laid off from their jobs. I saw also, I was looking on next door, somebody was saying, I think it'd be cheaper for me. I could save some money if I move to Texas. And I'm like, no, actually not, because prices are higher in Texas. Housing prices are higher. If you buy a house, their property taxes are higher. And people just don't have the kind of money that they thought they would have had. People are being laid off. What they said, I was reading that the like 1.17 million people have been laid off in 2025. And the unemployment rate for everybody is 4.6%, but for black folks, it's almost double that. It's 8.4%. And so when people are getting laid off, they do have to figure out how to tighten their buckle, right? How to save some money, make some changes. And it's unfortunate that most people, just like you and I were taught, we go get multiple jobs. I remember when I was a student at USC and I worked 2, 3 jobs on the side while raising 2 kids and going to school full time. Like it's just not sustainable and something has to give. But what shouldn't be giving is your relationship with your kids. What shouldn't be given is your relationship with friends and family and parents and the people that you care about the most. But when you work in multiple jobs, you don't have a choice, right? So you a few years ago got reconnected with my daughter on social media. She saw you traveling. You know, the little time off you had, you was taking some trips, right? And tell me about how those conversations went that led you to getting into the travel business. Okay. By any means necessary. Wow. It's crazy. Yes, that's an investment. Yeah. You know, this is the trip though. Like when you were getting those Airbnbs and having those parties, people were paying you money to come party with you. So you did have some income coming in, but now to be able to book those same houses, earn a commission from the travel industry, and then still be able to charge people to come and party with you. Now you're making money on both ends. Now you're making money on top of money. So that was smooth. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. And who gonna watch your kids in during that time? And those kids are what are they doing at home babysitting themselves? Which is dangerous, which is unsafe for kids? Are we creating these unsafe environments for our children? And what are they eating? Because I know they're not having home cooked meals. While you probably getting them hot pockets, which hot pockets is being sued right now for having these ultra processed foods that's killing people. What they eating? Fruit Loops. Oh, Fruit Loops got stuff in it that's banned in other countries. You can't get Fruit Loops in some countries because the quality of that food is not good, but it'll get your kids to keep quiet and sit down and eat something. You know, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're causing generational harm, is what we're doing, because we don't, oftentimes, we're not open minded enough to even consider another way. Right. And I was one of those people as well. Like, I'd had some bad experiences with Primerica, I'd had some bad experiences with like Avon, not buying all these little brochures and putting them in a baggie and putting them on people's doors and nobody calling. Right. I'm sitting there stamping my name and number on the back of them, not making no money. Right. And some people have made a lot of money in Avon. It wasn't me. Right. But as you saw, people are going to travel anyway. People are going to travel. You're working 4 jobs, still made time to travel, still set aside money to travel, right? So no matter what the economy is doing, people are going to travel. If they're not traveling just for fun, they're traveling for medical purposes. People are going to other countries getting their BBLs, right? Getting their tummy tucks, all kind of stuff. They still got to pay for that. Everything has a cost. And people are going to travel to get that. People going to get married. Shout out to Sunday and Dakota for getting married a couple nights ago, and they're going to go on a honeymoon. They're going to go and have some fun. Then they're going to have an anniversary they're going to be celebrating every year. Are you going to get that money, or you going to give it away? Right? And so that's it. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. And the trip is that if you have an open mind, you'll find time. You'll find time. If you're working 17 hours a day, you're working 4 jobs and you found time, anybody can find time. Right? Because if we do look at how we spend our time in a day, we find time to watch TV. We find time to scroll on social media just for fun, right? While other people are getting paid to entertain you, you missing out on money. You're missing out on opportunities, right? You build these relationships with people, but you're not monetizing any of those relationships. You just keep in. It's time out for kicking. We ain't got time for that. AI will replace you while you still sitting in your spotlight. I talked to a guy. I remember this guy. This wasn't too long ago either. He wanted to go to the movies, and I was like, "Cool, let's go. Let's go see this movie at this 4D theater out here." And so he's like, like, let's go to a regular theater. I'm like, a regular theater? Like, why would I want to go to a regular theater? Like, let's go to the 4D theater. It was like $27, $28 a ticket. He was like, oh, that's out of my budget. What? I said, how much were you planning on paying? Like $30 for both of us. Bruh, you another one that don't need to be dating. You don't need to be dating. And you 50 something years old, 50 plus. Okay. And I remember asking him, he works all day, but I said, what do you do on your days off? He said, I just veg out on the couch and watch sports. You can't afford to veg out. Live their dreams. And you can't afford a movie. A movie? Like, I never would have expected. I said, you don't even have $60 and you got time to veg out on the couch? And you don't want to look at a business opportunity, you need to do something. You need to at least go get you a second job. Because what happens if you lose this one? You can't even afford to take nobody out on a date anyway. You ain't got $60. But don't worry about it. I don't have a problem paying for myself. If I'm gonna go to the movies, I'm gonna make sure I have my money. And I'm gonna make sure I'm going to 4D. Because I'm not gonna watch a regular movie. It's an action-packed movie. I'm gonna watch it regular. I'm not gonna watch it regular. Listen, I'm not gonna watch it regular. I'm not the one, because I don't often watch movies. I don't have any necessity to go to the movie theater. But if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna enjoy it. If I'm gonna go waste 2 or 3 hours of my life, It's not going to be in a regular two-dimensional theater. So, I'm super excited to have you in the travel business. You've been able to build an amazing team of other entrepreneurs. One thing I love about that is the fact that you did not keep this business to yourself, because you started making money booking travel yourself right away. And sometimes people will tend to get in this business and say, I'm just going to focus on booking travel, which you have every right to do because we don't have any quotas. You can go share this business with everybody in the world, or you could share with nobody, and nobody cares. You have the freedom to do that because it's your business, right? But you didn't keep it to yourself. You went out and told your cousins, you went out and told your mom, your stepmom on the team. Like, you went and got all your friends and family that you spend time with. Your girl is over here making big money, traveling all over the world, taking group trips. And she could have been just kicking it, just graduated college. She could have just been like, well, I'm going to just go use my degree, go get me a job, teach or something. But instead, she's building her business. So now y'all get to build your business together because you didn't keep this business to yourself and you saw value in being able to go out and share this with other people. What was it that really, where did the light bulb come on where you said, you know what, I got to go share this with other people? Hmm. Crazy. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Good question. Yeah. I was thinking about what you said when you mentioned parents. I have one of my former students who I interviewed on my Don't Screw Up Your Kids podcast yesterday, and she was talking about how, because her son has a disability and that was not diagnosed yet, but he was operating in that disability. She ended up having to take FMLA, take time off from work. She worked for the state of Texas. And now she's in the process of leaving there and moving back to California because of two reasons. One, her son gets better care in California, but also the state of Texas, she was on the verge of losing her job out there because they weren't trying to give her the time off to be able to take care of her son and also be able to take him to all the appointments he needed to go to and things like that. And it's a shame that somebody should have to choose between being able to feed their child and take their child to their needed appointments, right? Like, she is a single mom. She does have more support in California, family in California, parents and things like that. And that's a big help. But for those people that may not even have that, they may not even have a support system. They may not have another place to move to, right? But if you stack your money ahead of time, if you start a business that you can work from home, make some additional income that allows you to put away some money, right? And now, when you have a situation like this that is unexpected, you have some money that you can pull from. So you don't have to worry about are they going to fire me, or do I have to kiss up to somebody because I want to make sure I don't lose my job because I got to take care of my kid? This business really gives people options. And I remember during COVID, literally sitting on the edge of my bed, I booked a lady's 50th birthday trip to Cabo, and I made $7,000 sitting on the edge of my bed, not having to leave my house. Right. And she got the birthday trip that she wanted. All of her friends and family got to celebrate with her. I think it was more friends. I don't think it was any family, but her friends got to go and celebrate with her in Cabo at an all inclusive adults only resort. And guess what? After I booked about 10 rooms, I decided I was going. And I booked myself and I posted on Facebook and was like, who want to come kick it with K Dub and Cabo? And several of my friends came. I think I booked the 7 extra rooms because of that. And we had a ball, but we had those options to do that. And that money, when those checks started rolling in, and I had never made that kind of money in any network marketing company before or any home based business before, because the travel portion is not network marketing. And let's be clear about that. There's a separation. We have two businesses, two companies, one where you can book travel and earn commissions. That is not multi level marketing, that is not network marketing. And then we have a network marketing company, which sells the travel agency and allows people to have their own home based travel agency. So, when most companies, I don't know what their network marketing structure looks like, but ours, completely separate businesses. So, you can do one or the other or none or both, right? But even when you are doing our network marketing business, all you're doing is helping other people be able to book their own travel from home, to be able to book the travel for the friends and family that they're probably already booking travel for. So it made sense to me when I got started back in 2018. My best friend just called me and was like, Khalees, you can get some discounts and commissions booking your own travel. And that's not how we market our business nowadays, but that's what she said to me. And I said, sign me up. And then when I saw the presentation, I was like, oh, it's a lot of money to be made here. And that's when I started to take this business more seriously, shared it with my daughter, who chose to wait for over a year before she got into business. But then when she did get in, she waited over a year before she said anything to anybody. And that's when she finally came and said something to you. And so it's been a beautiful ride. I love this opportunity because it gives you that flexibility. And like I was saying, as people are scrolling on social media, if folks check their screen time and be honest with themselves, they have time. They just got to make the time. They got to make the time. And it's worth it because, as we said, housing prices are up. Like, I don't know if your housing prices have gone up since you've been in the place that you're living in, but people are getting those notices that the rent's increasing. Housing prices are going up, utility prices are going up. So, yeah, people. That's it. You know what's crazy? I have a friend who's a nurse in San Diego, and she hires people who don't need a degree or any kind of nursing license, but they are the caregivers. And I was like, how much are y'all paying? And these are the med techs who pass out medication to these old people at an assisted living facility. And I said, how much are you paying these med techs? She said they start at like 17 or $18 an hour. I said, what? I thought minimum wage was 20 in California. She said that's only if you work in food service. So you can go get a job at McDonald's that's going to pay you $20 an hour. But if you passing out medication to old people who can't take the medication themselves, you get $17 an hour. We have our priorities mixed up. And man, and you were just telling me something about when you went to a McDonald's. What was your experience? Crazy. Yep. Yep. Wow. So I can't remember who I was talking to, but somebody said they pulled up to a drive-through and it was a screen and she was just waiting, and then it said something to her like, you can touch screen your order whenever you're ready. And they had this big screen. She had to touch screen her own order in the drive-through on a big kiosk, and I've seen those too. And I was like, this is a little crazy, but you've eliminated some jobs because those kiosks don't call in sick. Those kiosks don't have to take their kids to a doctor's appointment. Those kiosks are not, faking illness so they can go take a trip, right? So, they're eliminating jobs. Walmart, I try to avoid Walmart at all costs, but if in the occasion I have to go, it's all self checkout. They may have one or two check stands open. During Christmas, they used to have like 20, 30 check stands open at one time. I popped in during the Christmas season, and it was still like four people checking people out. And then they had all of the self checkout stands open. Sprouts, listen, Sprouts Farmers Market, they now have these shopping carts where you can put your credit card directly in the shopping cart and it'll charge you as you put your stuff in the basket. It even has a scale on the bottom of the basket where it can weigh your fruit. I remember going into a Sprouts and I was standing in line with the checkout. They had self checkout, but I don't do self checkout. And this guy was like, "Are you ready?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm ready." So he's like, "Come on over here." So I thought he had another check stand open. No, he had a shopping cart. He's like, "Put your card in here. Let me show you how this cart works." And I didn't want to see how the cart works. I don't want to eliminate jobs at my local Sprouts market. I go to the Sprout all the time. I'm not trying to eliminate their jobs, but the reality is their jobs are going to be eliminated. And what are they going to do? One job in 2026 is too close to none. Having one job is too close to having no job, And so, we see AI taking over. Bernie Sanders said over the next 10 years, 100 million jobs are going to be lost to AI. 100 million jobs. That's a lot of jobs. Hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah. And I love the fact that the companies that we're partnered with, they are utilizing AI and teaching us how to use it so that we can maximize our travel business. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It is people are going to be replaced on their jobs, and we have the opportunity now to make sure that we first of all fill our bank accounts in the meantime, but we're in position to win while other people are still struggling. We don't want that to be our households. And everybody that I love and care about, I want to make sure that I at least offer them the opportunity to have options. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's been great talking to you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And if you are a friend of Zaire on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you see these videos, go ahead and tap in with him, hit him in his inbox, ask him for more information. It does not hurt to take a look at a 6-minute video that you can watch while you getting ready in the morning, while you using the bathroom, while you waiting on your food to come out of the oven. At some point, find 6 minutes to take a look at some information that could absolutely change your life. And if you're one of my friends, go ahead and hit me in my inbox and say, "Hey, I'm looking for that information," because you have to have options in 2026. There's no more just getting by. We gotta actually excel. We gotta take off. We gotta go all the way to the very top and live the life of our dreams. It's no more getting by eating unhealthy foods. Oodles and noodles will kill you, you know, and you do not want to put yourself in a position like that where you are, barely getting by. It's a year to thrive. Any final words? You heard it from a 30-year-old millennial out of the mouth of babes, right? But he has a team with every generation represented, from baby boomers all the way down to Gen Zs on his team. And listen, you should be too. Have a great day.